Welcome to Poland Daily History with me, Nicholas Richardson. In the previous episodes, we started to discuss the similarities and differences between Polish and British history when it comes to how the institution of the National Armed Forces has shaped the development of these two countries.
Technically, we understand that for the sake of NATO, it would be good with a very strong army, but Poles have a long memory and they better play this one safe. So, to be honest, many Poles, when it comes to the political sphere, they love bringing attention to the fact that the Germans are making promises that they will increase the strength of their army, but then they actually never go through with it. But to be honest, we are usually not that sincere in our criticism. We are actually quite pleased with this being the state of things. But yes, from the perspective of NATO, we all need to pitch in and do our part, so to say.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the other point to remember, as I alluded to earlier, is that being an island, for us the Navy was always much more important anyway, because the water provided a lot of the defence which you'd otherwise, in the case of European powers, had to have entrusted to vast numbers of men and machinery. But having said that, of course, our Navy has been allowed to.
It isn't doing great either.
No, although we have those two new aircraft carriers, which are quite good. They are the largest ships ever built for the Royal Navy. We should have done what the Americans did, put nuclear reactors in them as well, so we didn't have to refuel them. And they are ordering some new Type 26 frigates. But you think, never enough, but there's always money for other things.
And this is also interesting with NATO, that every national army has its own characteristics. With Britain, for example, with their armed forces being strong when it comes to the Navy, the Polish Navy is far from being a very strong, even though they are building now some frigates as well, but certainly we are a land army. It is where we spend the vast lion's share of our resources.
Well, yes, because the coastline is relatively small, and most of the threats, I think, to Poland, say for the Swedes and the deluge, but most of the threats to Poland have come in the modern era across land borders, rather than being maritime threats.
And that was actually the only time period in which Poland considered having a strong navy. Those decades, the 1630s, 1640s, is when the Polish king, Władysław IV, was very interested in buying ships. There was naturally the port of Władysławowo, named after him, that was built. There was a naval battle against the Swedes, the Battle of Oliva. But after the 1650s, the priority for the Polish Navy started disappearing. Those were also the days when we had Swedish kings, the Vasa dynasty, and Sweden had an interest in having a quite strong navy. So when they sat on the Polish throne, then they brought some of that Swedish thinking with them, that maybe Poland should also have a military presence in the Baltic Sea. But gradually, due to realities, due to the threat that we faced, mainly from the east, from Russia, it simply disappeared over time. There were some attempts during the interwar era as well, building submarines, or also trying to get some vessels, some of them, or most of them actually, which managed to escape the German invasion on September 1st and sail to the North Atlantic and join up with the Royal Navy. So they still contributed to the Second World War, but they weren't really involved in any battles during the first week during the war.
Adam, as usual, the clock has defeated us, but we will pick it up next time, so thank you for that. There we are. I've had to interrupt Adam almost in mid-sentence, but don't worry, if you join us next time on Poland Daily History, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and see you next time on Poland Daily History.